Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you back in to celebrate the Northern Arizona Wranglers' victory on the road today up in Henderson, Nevada at the Dollar Loan Center, getting the win on the road 45-18 over the Vegas Nighthawks. Ed Cole joining me here on the postgame show. Ed, it was a great performance once again by the Wranglers as they improved to 5-2 on the season overall.
What a quality victory. What a great way to end the road trip, James. You win 2 out of 3 on the road trip, and you thoroughly dominate the team that you lost to in that same building in week 1 that you only scored 9 points, and you scored 45 as I continue to run on my mouth because it was so many great things that happened, JP, on Mother's Day. What a great Mother's Day gift that the Wranglers were able to give to their fans, to all the mothers that support and love this organization. A 45-18 domination of the Vegas Nighthawks. They moved to 5-2, a game behind the Arizona Rattlers in the Western Conference.
Let's get right to it. Let's take a look at some field level highlight shots provided by our director of communications, Mr. Tucker Welch. And it was a great performance. Caleb Barker, once again, on point for this football team. He was accurate all day, made plays with his feet and his arm. And you can see, once again, right there, not afraid to tuck it and run when necessary.
No, sir. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, hit Quentin Randolph for his 11th touchdown of the year. So those 2 young men have a complete bond. He had Glenn Gibbons Jr. on another touchdown. So 2 passing, 2 rushing touchdowns. Israel Tucker continues to make a case for him to be one of the main starters as far as the running backs concerned. He had a rushing touchdown. Ricardo Anderson had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. And then Brandon Fisher continues to play outstanding, stellar special teams. JP hits a field goal toward the end and makes it the 45-18 victory. Just a thorough, complete victory for the Wranglers as they end this road trip and get ready to come home again for the Tucson Sugar Skulls next Saturday night.
You saw the accolades there, right there, for Glenn Gibbons Jr. rolling those dice in the end zone there, being in Las Vegas. So apropos, Ed. And they just had a fantastic game today. The pressure was all over the quarterback for Vegas, and he just had nowhere to go with the football. Once again, this Wranglers defensive line was just suffocating.
And that's what we talked about in the pregame, right, JP? You needed to get the pressure on Gerard Evans, the reigning offensive player of the week for the Indoor Football League. If you do not get any pressure on him, and Evans just sits back there and did what he did last week in the victory they got over Massachusetts, then it would have been the same kind of result. But the fact that they put pressure on him and they turned the ball over, and the special teams was stellar against JP, not just Brandon Fisher, but the kickoff coverage. How many times did they recover kicks? How many whip kicks did Fish kick that the Wranglers ended up recovering and scoring off of?
The beauty about this team, Ed, is that they understand the importance of all 3 phases of the game, and the coaches understand that as well, and they have these guys ready to play week in and week out. It doesn't matter the competition. It doesn't matter the team we're facing, and we got those Arizona Rattlers coming up on the horizon. But first, before that, we got to take care of the Sugar Skulls, a team that got over those same Arizona Rattlers just last evening. They're next up on the docket for these Northern Arizona Wranglers next Saturday night at home at the Findlay Toyota Center.
Yes, as they continue to rise up in the Western Conference and they continue to rise up the Indoor Football League polls. We'll see what happens next week. Should they come out? Should they be number 1 in the polls? You and I would think that they should be, based on Arizona losing and then the Frisco Fighters losing last week against the same Arizona Rattlers, with the Frisco Fighters having a bye week this week. We'll see what happens when the polls come out, but they have made a case for them to be the top team as far as that poll is concerned. And as they continue to rise up in that Western Conference, as they continue to get closer to those Rattlers. But as you mentioned, a great victory. Those guys will get on the buses, get on back to Prescott Valley tonight, and get back to work next week. We'll talk to them, I'm sure, tomorrow night at the Colt Grill. We'll break it down with Coach Moss and some of the players and talk about this 27-point victory.
That is going to be a fantastic time tomorrow night. Make sure and join us. If you haven't had a chance to come out for a Wranglers Roundup show, it's a great time. We have some great food. The players come out. We visit with the players and coaches from the Northern Arizona Wranglers, and we get to visit with you guys in the community as well. So make sure and come out and join us. If you can't be there live, we're going to be live on the Northern Arizona Wranglers YouTube channel right here on this very same channel tomorrow night at 6:30. And, Ed, I'm excited to see who we're going to get to visit with tomorrow night. How do you pick an MVP out of this game?
That is a really good question. I mean, you and I were kicking around. You and I and Tuck, Tuck's down there in Vegas. We were kicking around. Should it be Israel Tucker? Should he be the offensive player that Coach Moss brings to us, or he's the player of the game? Is it Ricardo Anderson? Is it Caleb Barker as he continues to grow? Is it the entire defense? Is it Brandon Fisher with his outstanding special teams? Who do you give it to, JP?
we might have a 4-hour show tomorrow night, but that's okay. We might have the Colt Grill have to stay open a little bit late tomorrow night, but either way, we're going to squeeze it all in. It's going to be a great time. So make plans to join us tomorrow evening. That's 6:30 p.m. Arizona time from the Colt Grill in beautiful Prescott Valley. We will step aside here, take a very short time out, come back and wrap up this victory for the Northern Arizona Wranglers this afternoon in Henderson, Nevada over the Vegas Nighthawks, 45-18. Stay with us here on the postgame show. We will be right back and wrap this one up and look ahead to next week against the Tucson Sugar Skulls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You got a voice, Molly. Use it. Do it for the phone.
Let's do it for the phone. They do so much for you. When they're out there all alone, there's something we can do. T-Mobile, look at these apps, they don't lie. And faster speeds nationwide. Let's do it for the phone.
Welcome back here to the postgame show for the Northern Arizona Wranglers. They get the win today on the road this afternoon on Mother's Day in Henderson, Nevada over the Vegas Nighthawks, 45-18. Ed, once again, a fine performance by this team. Now they're just going to get the lunch pails together, pack lunch for tomorrow, get back to work this week, and look forward to another tough game up ahead this week against those Tucson Sugar Skulls.
Yes, sir. It gets no easier for the Wranglers, but coming off a victory today, the methodical way they were able to move the football, James, it wasn't like one play hit them, and then you bust the defense open. They drove down methodically. Offensive coordinator Rod Windsor drew up a great game plan against the Nighthawks defense, and the fact that they were able to run off 28 straight points at one point in this game to take complete command of the football game. I love the way this team came out and they just hit Vegas squarely in the mouth, and the Nighthawks had no recourse. They had no way of following that up.
Northern Arizona going 2-1 on the series against the Vegas Nighthawks this season. So impressive to say the least. Once again, we look ahead to next Saturday night, 6:05 kickoff at the Finley Toyota Center. If you haven't gotten your tickets, make sure and do that. And if you're not able to join us in person, we'll be live with our pregame segment beginning at 5:45 p.m. Arizona time on the Indoor Football League YouTube channel. Once again, congratulations to the Wranglers getting the win today on the road in Vegas, 45-18 over the Nighthawks. For Ed Cole, I'm James Hoovey, saying have a great rest of your Mother's Day. We appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and go Wranglers.
Go Wranglers. Happy Mother's Day.